All right, what's up, guys? Farzi Vasugian here with you. It is Saturday. It is 5 o'clock, technically now 5:01 p.m., but who's really counting? We are less than an hour away from kickoff. Yes, we are an hour away from kickoff. I'm ready, man. Let's go. Let's get this underway. Because of like all the content and stuff I do during the season, it gets pretty crazy. And I don't want to call it burnout because I'm not doing anything too grueling or anything like that, but it does become a little much over time. So every off season, I love to unwind, relax, and of course the Chiefs had other plans, and it ended up becoming a very eventful off season for the Chiefs. And then it just went by fast, like absolutely very fast. So we are here. Yes, we are here. If you guys are in the comments, you guys coming in, say something, say what's up, tell me what's on your mind. Okay, yeah, I see a lot of you guys coming in now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are less than an hour away from kickoff. We are, I mean, this is going to be a very slow 58 minutes, but damn it, I'm ready, man. I said this earlier in the offseason. I said this week, and since training camp started, I'm normally not the kind of guy that cares about OTAs and training camp and preseason games. But this one is just different to me, man. This is very, very different. I'm stoked. This is like the most excited I've been for a Chiefs preseason game. I think this is maybe the most anticipated preseason since 2017. And obviously the significance of 2017, that was Patrick Mahomes' debut. That's the first time the Chiefs drafted a quarterback since 1983 or whatever that was. And I think a lot of people in the first round, I should say, drafted a quarterback in the first round. So everyone at the end of the day is just like, let's go. Let's get it right. Let's get it going. I was just looking at CBS Sports, and they're doing their countdown, doing picks for every single team. 14-3. They've got the Chiefs at 14-3. I've got the same thing for the Chiefs. So I'm ready. Let's get this going. I want to see Hollywood Brown. I want to see Xavier Worthy. I want to see Rashee Rice and everyone else that's part of this receiving core, because it's going to be way better than last year. There are a lot of people out there that are hoping that the Chiefs offense looks the same as it did last year, because if the Chiefs offense is exactly like last year's, they're not going to go very far. But everyone knows that's not going to be the case. I talked about this last night, and I'll say it again. Any pushback the Chiefs are getting from three-peating, the only reason I've seen anyone provide is it's never been done before. Well, you know what hasn't been done in a long time? Going back to back. The Chiefs just did that. You know what else has not been done in a very long time? A Super Bowl MVP and a regular season MVP the same year. Well, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs took care of that in 2022. And by the way, these last 2 years, the Chiefs have been winning Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill, who's a phenomenal football player and is doing great things for the Miami Dolphins. But this is not a team that has changed. Maybe offensively, they've taken a little bit of a step back, but overall, this is a team that's still winning the Super Bowl. I mean, Super Bowls, I should say. They're still winning Super Bowls. And now you bring in Hollywood Brown. Now you bring in Xavier Worthy. So if you could not, and I can't remember who said this last year. I think it was Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd mentioned that last year was a year to beat the Chiefs and for someone else to win the Super Bowl. But the Chiefs won. They won with that offense there. And not just that. Go look at, I'm sure you guys have many times, go look at the final drive before the end of regulation and the overtime drive that Patrick Mahomes was in the driver's seat for. That was by far the two best drives the Chiefs had all season. They had some good drives against Miami and in Buffalo in the playoffs, and also early in the first half against the Ravens. But, man, the way the Chiefs just came up clutch in the end of that game before the end of regulation and overtime, perfect. Like, you could not have operated a better two drives than that, with the season on the line, the Super Bowl on the line, essentially. And the Chiefs had something to prove, because even though they got further than a lot of people expected them to make, but they still wanted to win that Super Bowl right there. That's the thing with this Chiefs team, because everyone, I think every single Chiefs fan will even say it as well. It's Super Bowl win or bust. Making the Super Bowl, making the AFC Championship game, because the Chiefs have reached the AFC title game every year with Mahomes. All of these things are great, but it doesn't really matter if the Chiefs do not win the Super Bowl. I think that's really the mindset that everybody has right now going into the preseason and then the regular season as the Chiefs get ready to play the Baltimore Ravens in 26 days. So I'm just over here wondering, like, who are the Chiefs? Like, who's their biggest threat in the AFC? Probably Houston. Baltimore, yeah, sure. In the regular season, but we all know Baltimore, they always lay an egg in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson's postseason numbers are not the best. Buffalo, I mean, yeah, again, another team that's really good in the regular season, but in the playoffs, they haven't had much to show for it. Cincinnati, I mean, their window is closing more and more every year. They're not the same team they used to be a couple of years ago, especially with all the injuries they deal with. They still don't even have a defense. What did Buffalo and Cincinnati do this offseason to improve? Like, what's like the one big move you can look at those teams and be like, oh, yeah, they're definitely going to be way better than last year? I mean, Cincinnati's defense is still garbage. You look at Joe Burrow in practice, he's absolutely horrible. Overthrowing T. Higgins, and then on a three-man rush, the offensive line can't hold for as long as they should, and Joe Burrow has to throw the ball out of bounds in a red zone situation. So those teams at all do not have they're not well equipped to compete with Kansas City. They're just not. Buffalo might beat Kansas City in the regular season. Great. You've done it 3 other times. You've also lost to the Chiefs 3 times in the playoffs. Mahomes is 3-0 against Josh Allen. No question about it. Yeah, Patrick saying both got worse, but Houston got. Yeah, I agree. Houston is the better team. I think in the AFC. For the biggest threat to Kansas City. Are you going to live stream? No, I'm not. I'm in KC, but YouTube TV says the Chiefs is blacked out on NFL Network. Yeah, 38 the spot. That's, yeah. I posted about it many times, but I guess not everyone's getting it. I don't know what the over-under is going to be today when people turn on Channel 41 and they see the Olympics and they're going to freak out wondering why they can't watch the Chiefs, even though it's been... I feel like the Chiefs have announced it many times. I've tried to put it out there several times. I don't know. I'm very curious to see. By the way, if anyone's going to ask me to stream the game, not happening. I mean, listen, there are places you can do that stuff. Not from my page. That's not happening. Unless you guys want to purchase the copyright rules and agreements for me so I can stream it, then yeah, sure. We can definitely do that. But yeah, 38 the spot. Who are you guys most excited to see? I put my list out there already. I think the one player I really want to see the most is Xavier Worthy, because in practice, we've seen Xavier Worthy involved in, and by the way, Pat McAfee was talking about this as well on his show. Xavier Worthy is wide open on a lot of plays. Obviously, the defense does not want to let that happen, because the defense, they're trying to play good football as well in practice. And this is a good Chiefs defense that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are practicing against. So this is no pushover defense, but you want to see it in a live game, which we're going to see today. The amount of hype that Xavier Worthy is getting is it's Channel 41 showing on my TV guide. Yeah, I think it's showing for a lot of people, but I think whenever they created the TV guide or whatever, they forgot to consider the Olympics. Yeah, Luis Rees-Zammit. I'm very curious to see what he does as well, because he has not had a very good training camp. He has gradually improved over time, but still, that guy struggled a lot in training camp with pass protection, handoffs. He gets swarmed up by defensive players immediately. I don't know how much of that is on him, how much of that is on the offensive line, but we'll get an opportunity to see him in tonight's game. So I'm very curious to see what he does. But going back to my point about Xavier Worthy, that's somebody who, at the end of the day, someone who had a lot of hype going into the combine, and then in the combine breaking the all-time record for fastest 40, and somehow got to Kansas City. Pat McAfee mentioned this on his podcast. He said, how is it that you have Hollywood Brown, one of the fastest free agent receivers in the NFL, one of the fastest receivers in the NFL right now, and you have Xavier Worthy, who had the fastest 40 time. How do you let both of those guys end up in Kansas City? That's a great point. And McCole Hardman's back, and I know McCole Hardman, I keep saying it, his progress in the NFL has kind of been very slow, but there's a reason why the Chiefs keep giving him an opportunity. You don't want to give up on a guy like McCole Hardman or Kadarius Toney because you know what they're capable of. McCole Hardman had a pretty good Super Bowl, not just the game-winning catch, but also earlier in the game in double coverage, burning two defenders in the secondary on the 49ers defense. Kadarius Toney has done some good things on offense and on special teams. He was way better on offense his first year with the Chiefs, and that was mid-season where he picked up the playbook faster than anyone expected. I keep comparing Kadarius Toney to Josh Gordon because the Chiefs gave Josh Gordon a chance, and he just could not get it together. He couldn't even get on the field in the regular season, and they gave him a chance in the following preseason, and he just could not get it together. But then they bring in Kadarius Toney mid-season, and he just picks up the offense real quickly. And 2023 was a completely different story. Now, Kadarius Toney did not play in last year's preseason due to a knee injury. So I know he's been dealing with an ankle injury, but did come back to practice. So I'm wondering if we get to see Kadarius Toney in today's game, because that's someone that I'm very curious to see. What is he going to do with this opportunity? Essentially giving him a second chance. Yes, Matthew. So for those of you who are outside of the United States, the game will be on Sky Sports. If you go to the Chiefs website, they actually do show. So if you're not in the Kansas City area, but if you're in Wichita or any of the nearby places, they do have a list of what channel. If you're in Alaska, they actually get the preseason game on their local CBS affiliate. I was a little surprised by that. I got a text Melody. I didn't realize Alaska gets a game locally. I don't know how many games they get on their local channels, preseason games that is, but they do get the Chiefs on their local CBS affiliate. LeBron James just won feedback. Dude, that basketball game was awesome. These last two games for the Olympics against Serbia and France, dude, Team USA just put on a clinic. That was a lot of fun to watch. I know a lot of people always love to compare things, and people keep bringing up the dream team and stuff. Man, just enjoy this team right now. And I don't know people's thoughts on LeBron James, and it changed a little bit for some people because he's repping Team USA. But man, just appreciate the guy. You don't have to think he's the best, but when he goes away, as well as Kevin Durant, Steph Curry in the next few years, man, I mean, that's going to be a unit. It's going to be hard to replicate that kind of success with those kinds of guys. That was a lot of fun to watch. Putting a beating on France. If you're in Joplin, it's on channel 12. Yeah, if you're outside of the Kansas City area, it is on NFL Network for you guys. Now, here's the thing: for those of you who are outside of Kansas City, I don't know if they are going to show the Chiefs broadcast or the Jaguars broadcast. I think they usually show the home team's broadcast. So, listen, I don't know. I mean, if you get the Jaguars crew, I guess it's better than missing the game, but you're going to get a lot of Jaguars commentary than Chiefs commentary. They're probably not going to say much about Worthy or Kingsley or LRZ. I mean, you're probably going to get a lot of talk about Jaguars players that you've never heard of before. Very likely. A lot of Jaguars fans in the UK. That's probably why. Oh, okay. Interesting. I think I did see that Sky Sports will be airing all three of the Chiefs preseason games. I know for a fact all of the Chiefs preseason games will be aired on NFL Network. So for those of you that live outside of Kansas City, you can watch on NFL Network. Again, if you're in Kansas City, today is the only day where the Chiefs will play on 38 the spot because of the Olympics. The Olympics are going to get wrapped up tomorrow morning, I believe, or early afternoon is when the closing ceremonies are. So Channel 41 will be airing the other two preseason games for the Chiefs. I believe you can also download the Chiefs app and you can watch the preseason game on there. So in the area of 79605, I don't know where 79605 is, but showing on NFL Network. Yeah, everyone outside of the Kansas City area will get it on NFL Network assuming the previous game, whatever game they're airing, does not go into overtime. By the way, I do want to touch on one thing with this front office, specifically with Brett Veach and all those guys. Because I was watching the Buffalo Bills game, and I was very curious to see, how is Marquez Valdez-Scantling going to look? How is Shane Buechele going to look? And also, Cairo Santos plays a former Chiefs kicker, the most recent kicker the Chiefs have had as their primary kicker prior to Harrison Butker. I just want to see how those guys would look. Shane Buechele looked bad. I mean, the Bears defense read him like a book on that pick six. And then on the first offensive play of the game for the Bills, Marquez Valdez-Scantling drops a pass. Why am I bringing this up? Because I know MVS, I think we can all agree, was time to move on from. Shane Buechele a year ago, people, or 11 months ago, rather, people were kind of confused. Like, why is he gone? Why did the Chiefs choose to move away from him? Well, I think if you watch that Buffalo game today, you kind of got a good understanding of why. And I'm not trying to, bash Shane Buechele. I mean, the guy's like a third string quarterback or a guy trying to compete for a roster spot. But Brett Veach and the Chiefs know what the hell they're doing when it comes to roster construction and all of that. They released Kavari Russell, a third-round cornerback, his rookie year. It was like 3 or 4 weeks into his rookie year, which is odd because the Kansas City Star, Therese Paylor, who did a fantastic job covering the Chiefs prior to his passing, he wrote an article talking about how Kavari Russell was making really good progress with the Chiefs. And then a week later, he gets cut. And people were really confused by that. Well, look at Kavari Russell now. The guy's a journeyman in the NFL. So, and by the way, do the Chiefs get it right all the time? No. Look at the Jawan Taylor contract. So far, not so good. Look at Sky Moore. Not very good. Breland Speaks didn't pan out in the NFL. Doing well outside of the NFL, but not in the NFL in Kansas City, not so good. So the Chiefs do get it wrong sometimes, but more times than not, the Chiefs know what they're doing when it comes to putting together a team. I got some pushback on social media in the last week, people telling me Brett Veach is not the best general manager in football. How is he not the best general manager in football? He traded away Tyreek Hill, the most explosive wide receiver in NFL history, and he went out there 2 drafts in a row. 2021, I know Tyreek Hill was on the Chiefs in 2021, but in 2022 got all those draft picks and found a bunch of great players outside of the first round. So if Brett Veach is not the best GM in football, who is? Who's better than him? Who has a better resume than Brett Veach since Veach joined the team in 2017? And I know Veach was not the GM when the Chiefs drafted Mahomes, but Veach is always credited for finding Patrick Mahomes very early on in his career at Texas Tech. And if it wasn't for him, the Chiefs probably would have gone in a different direction. So I don't know who's better than Brett Veach right now in the NFL. It just doesn't make sense to say someone else is a better general manager. Does not make sense to me at all. Yeah, a lot of people are very excited for Jared Wiley. I'll say this. I'm going to do another top 10 list for the second preseason game. Jared Wiley, I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do. He's not a guy that's very high on my radar, though. And I'll tell you why. I think Jared Wiley will play this year. Don't get me wrong. He's going to make the 53-man roster, and he'll have some games where he gets snaps, and I think he'll get more and more snaps as the season goes on. But I don't think this is someone that's going to get heavily involved like some people are expecting. I still think, obviously, Travis Kelce is your number 1 tight end. I still think Noah Gray is the top tight end behind Travis Kelce. I know the Chiefs liked what they saw out of Noah Gray last year. Most playing time he got was even ahead of Blake Bell in the depth chart. So I think the Chiefs want to try to use Noah Gray more. But Travis Kelce is going to retire within the next year or 2, maybe 3 years at the most. So you're going to have to experiment with Jared Wiley a lot in the preseason. I don't think in the regular season he gets a lot of playing time. If I had to put down money, how many pass targets he's going to get this year, I'm saying anywhere from 20 to 25. I think 25 is even too generous, but I think it's going to be in that ballpark right there. That's how many targets he'll get. I think they're going to use Jared Wiley more for pass blocking because, I mean, whoever your left tackle ends up being, and I think it's going to be Kingsley Suamataia, but let's say it's Suamataia or Wanya Morris. If either of those 2 guys are struggling, you're probably going to need to put a tight end right beside the left tackle to help be, especially with some of the pass rushers you're going to face this year. Baltimore's always got a good defense. The Bengals have Trey Hendrickson. You see the Raiders twice a year. They have Max Crosby. You're going to see Khalil Mack a couple of times this year. So you're going to have to put together a strategy where you have a tight end that's going to assist those left tackles if they need that help. The Chiefs did use Jerick McKinnon, a running back, as someone that would help Orlando Brown because he was just awful during his time in Kansas City. And even with Cincinnati, he's still the same guy, even worse, actually, leading the NFL in pressures allowed 2 years in a row. But if you have Jared Wiley on the team, who's a very tall, really strong guy, has a lot of good strength, that's what he was praised for during his time in college coming out of the NFL draft. That was part of his scouting report. That's someone that I can see the Chiefs using as an assist pass blocker for offensive tackles. I was very surprised the Chiefs did not do much of that last year. I hope they can learn from that mistake because I think that could have maybe helped him out in a couple of situations last year where the left tackle, whether it was Donovan Smith or Wanya Morris, just allowing the edge rusher to go around and get to Patrick Mahomes with ease. So I'm really hoping that Jared Wiley, I don't think he's going to get a lot of targets this year, but I think that's someone that's going to be involved in the pass blocking game. And then, over time, in his second year and his third year with the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are definitely going to use him a lot more in the pass catching department, for sure. Yes, yeah, Kentucky, uh, Maine, Oregon, Arizona, anyone that's outside of the Kansas City area will get the game on NFL Network. If you're not in the local market that's going to broadcast the game on a local channel, which is usually pretty much all of Kansas and Missouri and maybe some other parts in the Midwest, everyone else will get it on NFL Network. Yes, for sure. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Quick reminder, I'll be back after the game, or before that, actually halftime. We'll do a halftime live stream. We'll be talking about the first half, recap that. Going to be a shorter live stream, of course, because it's halftime. So it's going to be about 10, 11 minutes long, not going to be very long. And then after the game, we'll be doing the Chiefs Zone podcast live. That'll be our post-game live stream. So join me after that. I'll have the link available for you guys to call in. Would love for you guys to call in. Give me your thoughts on the Chiefs after the game. Let me know what you thought about today's preseason game. Good, bad, the ugly, whatever it is. We'll talk about it afterwards. All right, guys. My name is Farzin Vasugian. Appreciate you guys joining me for this pregame live chat. I'm going to get out of here, get ready for the game. I'm sure all of you guys will be doing the same thing. I'll talk to you guys at halftime and after the game. Peace out. Take care.